Today, we're going to talk about why relationships are so critical for your business. Deals are made between people, not businesses. Certainly, the product obviously is what opens the door and determining, like, hey, we think this is something we need to be looking at and a product that would work well for our customers or would be a great combination of what we already offer. But whether or not that deal gets made does have a lot to do with who you're working with. I've seen this in large deals, multi-million dollar deals, down to little bitty small deals. The person you're actually working with and relationship you're building actually does make a really big difference. I think it also makes a big difference as when we're talking about startup world in terms of people helping you and who are going to be your resources when you need some support. And all of that revolves around the type of relationships that you've built. So, one of the things we know in this in general about relationships is relationships with good partners can survive bad quarters. Good partners that you're working with closely understand that sometimes businesses dip and sometimes there's challenging days, and they're in it with you. The good partners are the ones that also want you to be successful. It's not just about their success. And I think that you see this in even the negotiation process as you are determining who should you partner with. You'll see some scenarios where there's no flexibility. It's very one-sided. There is no consideration for your business. And some of those are extreme. Sometimes it's a little more subtle. And other times it's very extreme and obvious. The good partners are the ones that can look, and really good negotiators too, are the ones that can look at your business and say, okay, if we structure this deal in this way, we all win. And those are the partners you want. The ones that can look at a scenario and go, hey, this is good for all of us. Longevity in a business partnership is relational. It is very relational. There are going to be times that your contract may be coming up for renewal or expiration. And if you want to continue that partnership, that business contract renegotiation, the way that you have built that relationship over time matters. There are people that will stay with who they're with just simply because they appreciate who they're working with. Even if your product costs a little bit more for the company, they still may stay with you because the partnership is really good and they trust you. Where other times, and this also is really important with turnover. I want to mention that too. When you've got a company that has a lot of turnover, and I think this is something to identify early when you're looking at negotiating partnerships. If you're negotiating partnership with people that have been in their jobs a really long time, it's a stable company, there's very low turnover. That's a really good scenario because you're building a partnership with somebody that's going to be there when it's time to renew a contract or work through something difficult. You've got time to build. As I've mentioned that good partners and relationships take time. You're not going to meet someone in the same day as much as you like them. It's not going to be like somebody you've known for a really long time and there's built trust there. So when you find partnerships where the people in charge have been around a long time, then that is a really good scenario. If you find that it's a partnership where that company has really high turnover, particularly in the executive space, could be a little more challenging because when it comes up time for contract renewal, you may run into some challenges there because they have their loyal people. They have people that they've had relationships with a long time. And if that happens to be a competitor of yours, or it gives an opportunity for someone else to come in and take that contract. So it is really important to think about building relationships with the people that you're partnering with, or you're even considering partnering with one day. And now, it's of course not just for the partnership. It is good to build relationships with people anyway. It is healthy for us as people. It is support down the road if you may need it. It's also giving opportunity for you to contribute in a way. There's so many opportunities I've had to just give to someone that I know. If they called me 10 years later and needed some help, I would absolutely help them. So I think that in business in general, really spending time on relationships is key. Word of mouth and referrals is still today the number one source of some of your best business. It doesn't matter if it's sales of a product, if it is building a partnership for a very big deal, whatever it is, third party verification is really important. It's about trust. It's about, can you trust this person to deliver what they're saying they're going to deliver, that they're going to tell the truth, that they're going to work hard at the partnership and make it everything it could be. And the best way to be confirmed by that is someone that who has actually already worked with you and knows you. So again, as you work through a partnership and a relationship that you have, if you come to that relationship 110% all the time, and you follow your values, and you build these partnerships and relationships in the way that you should, that only opens the door for you more later. I know there's a lot of information out there about your inner circle and, the top 5 people that you spend the most time with. That is really, really, really true. It's really true. I think it's important to stop and think about, who are your 5 closest people? Who are the people that you turn to when you need help? And it's not just in your personal life, but in your business life too. And sometimes that's crossover. But sometimes you may have some different circles depending on, what you're talking about in your life. But really, think about that a lot. Are these people that are trustworthy and are going to grow you and push you? Or are these people that are just going to say yes to everything you say and not push you, which is something that you don't want? Really think about who you're spending your time with. And this also moves into the partnership space. If you're partnering your company with another company, are you okay with how that looks? Is it a company that has integrity? Is it a company and a partner that, if they were out saying, "Hey, we represent your company," that you're comfortable with that you believe in their product and what they're doing and who they are? And if you can't say that you feel good about what they've represented or the direction they're going, then it's probably not a partner for you. So, how is this actually done? How do you start to build in this way? Start with who you already know. Most people overlook their existing network. There may be somebody in your network right now that would be a great partner for you to have, or a great relationship for you to foster. And maybe you just haven't taken the time or energy or effort or even noticed that they're around and would fit that role for you. And maybe they are one of your top 5 people in the future. So I think the first thing to do is really think about your current network. And then, of course, go out and meet new people. There's lots of community events and opportunities to meet new people. Put yourself out of your comfort zone and get in areas that maybe you're not used to, and put yourself in environments where you have an opportunity to meet new people. Follow up and spend time with that person, and always ask, what can I do for you? I find that in networking, there's sort of like 2 sides to networking. There's some people that will spend time with you and ask for things, but they don't give anything to you. And then there's other people that ask for things, but they also give to you. And there's some people that don't ask for anything and they just give to you. It's always going to be different. I mean, as much as I want to say that I have always given to every single person I've ever met, I know that that's not realistic. And for anyone listening that I haven't done that, I'm very sorry. You should contact me. Because I feel really bad about that. I do try to give to everybody that I have interaction with. If you have an opportunity to put your hand out and say, "Hey, let me help you," that is a first step of building a good relationship. Give without expectation also. If you do give assistance to someone, do not expect to get it back. That is not a good reason to give. If you are assisting somebody in their business or whatever it may be, it's important that you're giving from a good place and because you choose to do it, and not because you expect anything back. And be someone worth knowing. Are you adding value to the people that you're meeting, or are you just using their time? Stop and really think about, okay, when I had that conversation, did I provide any value back to the person that I was speaking with? And if the answer is no, then I think you have to ask yourself why. Why is that? Could I have provided value, and how might I have done that differently? I'll give an example of also how important relationships are in any kind of partnership, or when you're trying to create one, especially if it's really big. And also how critical just one person, when you are looking to partner with another company, just how one person can make the difference. So I have an experience where the company I was working for at the time was in negotiations with a potential client. And we had spent a lot of time with that client at that point. And many visits, many meetings with many people, and it was sort of getting down to the wire. And there was one critical person among the group that just wasn't bought in. Really was the only person that was sort of holding the deal back. So I was asked to be involved in that. And I went and spent time with this person. And I sat with them, I listened to their concerns, I met them where they were. I wasn't critical, I wasn't trying to sell them. I legitimately wanted to know what were they worried about, because we were in a great place. We had buy-in from everybody and it really was a good partnership. But what was it for them that just wasn't matching? And once I spent some time sitting down and really understanding what that was, I began to realize that these are some misconceptions of what's been presented. And that is not that person's fault. That was our fault for not recognizing it earlier and identifying that she just wasn't on the same page as everybody else. And she had valid concerns. But I also recognized that she communicated differently. She needed something different from us than the way we were presenting information and communicating with everybody else. So I met her where she was. I spent time with her specifically. I went through every single concern that she had. I gave her a communication style that she needed, and I just gave the attention there that needed to happen. That wasn't just because we needed to, close a deal. It wasn't just because of that. She needed a chance to really understand. And we definitely did not want to have a partnership with someone on board that, every day was walking around like, I'm not sure if this is right. That's not what we want. We want partnerships where everybody is a part of it. That's how you win, when everybody wants to help each other make it successful. And she was a critical component to that. So once we had a lot of time, with everyone, and then I spent specific time with her and understood what it was she needed, she felt valued and heard. And I feel like she trusted me. She can trust me because I absolutely would tell her the truth. And I did. And we were in a different place, and the deal moved forward after that. So I think that, part of that is building a relationship with her. That one person can make the biggest difference. So I think that's a lesson in remembering that it is everybody at the table is involved in what you're doing when you're building partnerships and you're building relationships. Just remember, everybody's important. The hard truth about it is some relationships do have an expiration date. It's not always positive. We meet people and we get to know them, and doesn't mean every single person you meet is someone who will stay in your life. One, because either it's just somebody that doesn't match your values, or you're not connecting with, or two, there's a time when somebody is meant to be in your life. And it could be that someone enters and then you don't hear from them for 10 years, and then all of a sudden you're reconnected for some reason, and that's fine. And then there's those people that stay in your life every day. Recognize all relationships are going to be different. But when you find those people that really match you, that you have shared values, similar goals, don't have to be the same goals, but they're just sort of on the same frequency as you, stick with those people. The loneliest place in business is being surrounded by people who don't really know you and you can't trust. Pay attention when you are interacting with people, and especially if you're doing a deal with another business. What are you being told? Is that information verifiable? And are you seeing consistent messaging? Something said to you on Monday, and then it's different on Thursday. And it's not different because there was a misunderstanding or because something had changed, but it's different because that maybe is in their best interest in terms of closing a deal. That's a big red flag. You cannot have partnerships with people that you cannot trust and are going to be flippy floppy like that. You need to know that you can trust who you're going into business with. It's fine to ask the question. If Thursday rolls around and you're given different information, it is absolutely okay to say, okay, well, Monday I was told this, so what has changed and why? To confirm that it's not something that's just dishonest, that there's a real reason. But as you're building relationships with people, it's very important to be paying attention. Are they following through? Are they doing the things they say they're going to do? Are they telling you the truth? These are all signs to know, is this a company or a person that I want to work with or not? So every episode of this podcast exists because of relationships. The whole premise of Alley Oop is this: someone lifted you up at the right moment, and the big lifts happen inside of relationships. Building relationships is building your support system for the moments when things get hard and you need support in the long run. I'd love to hear about when you've been lifted. What's your alley oop?